Welcome back to my channel. It is now week 9 of the NFL season, and in today's video I will cover everything that you need to know about the Philadelphia Eagles versus Jacksonville Jaguars game. Starting off, of course, how are both of the teams doing? The Eagles are on a very hot streak. They started the year off 2-2. They were kind of shaky. Fans were starting to say, fire the coach, the season's over. And then they had a bye week and have had 3 straight wins since over the Browns and Giants, and everyone was like, oh, who cares? And then they had another dominating win over the Bengals. The Eagles are really heating up, and these past 3 games are as good as they have looked since the Super Bowl. Better than all of last year, in my opinion. The Jaguars on the other side of the ball have been a bit of a dumpster fire. They are 2-6.
Let's see your everything is okay face. No.
And realistically, Doug Peterson, he's coaching for his job here. He could easily get fired at any point. They've been terrible on offense and on defense, and honestly, they are all but out of the playoff race at this point. They're kind of, well, not tanking for the next quarterback, but tanking for somebody, because they're locked in with Trevor Lawrence at this point. Next up, the injury report for each team. The Eagles are a little banged up all over the place. There's a handful of players who are on the injury report. They're feeling hurt, but of course they're going to play, such as Jalen Carter. He's been on the injury report for a few weeks at this point, but there's no real concern that he's going to miss this game. So all I'm really going to talk about is the people who actually might miss this game or will miss this game. On the Eagles, of course, Dallas Goedert, the starting tight end, likely out this week. Not confirmed yet, but everything I've seen says he will be out. And then staying on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line is a little banged up. Mailata, of course, is on injured reserve with the hamstring injury. He's just 1 week in. He might be out for a little while. Mekhi Becton had a concussion. He missed last week, but he'll probably be back this week. So the offensive line likely missing just Mailata, which is a big loss. However, the replacement, the backup left tackle, was actually really good last week against the Bengals. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I'd say this is a little healthier than the offensive side of the ball. And the only person that I see as being in doubt is Slay. So Slay has a groin injury. Not ideal, not good when you have to run really fast and guard really fast wide receivers. It's unknown if he's going to play or not. We probably won't know this until the day or two before the game starts. If he does miss, honestly, it's not the end of the world. This is not a great opponent, and Isaiah Rodgers or Keely Ringo could fill in for Slay. Now onto the Jaguars side of the ball. So they are in some pain right now. On the bright side, Travis Etienne, their starting running back, likely to come back this week. But now, that's about it for the bright side. So, Christian Kirk broke his collarbone, and he will be out for the year, I believe, at least for a while. He was their second best wide receiver at this point. But then, even more important, someone that you might not know, Brian Thomas, their rookie wide receiver. He's a first-round pick, and he has been amazing. He's been a breakout wide receiver, better than Marvin Harrison so far. He has a chest injury, and he is likely to be out 2 to 4 weeks. And then on the defensive side of the ball for Jacksonville, it looks like a lot of people are questionable, but no one that I can tell is confirmed to be out. No material person, such as Josh Allen or whatever his new name is. Next up on the docket, what does Vegas think will happen? Well, Vegas has the Eagles as about a 7-point favorite, which is a huge favorite, one of the biggest favorites on the week. So Vegas does not think this game will be that close.
Hello, Bob. You look sweaty. Think you have what it takes to beat the competition? I personally doubt it.
Okay, starting off, Eagles offense versus Jaguars defense, of course, because in an Eagles YouTube channel, we just have to start off with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, most important person on the team, has looked very, very good the past 2 weeks. This comes after the first 5 weeks of the season only getting C grades from me. It was like C, 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 maybe even a D versus Tampa Bay. He was not good to start the year off. People were like, is he even that good of a quarterback at this point? After the bye, it turns out, yes, he is. I'm not going to say he's looked as good as he did in 2022, but he's getting there. If he played this well the whole season, people would be acting like he was an MVP contender. What has changed is largely, one, his weapons are back. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith come back from injury. And two, he's just not forcing things. Jalen Hurts started the season off with a ton of interceptions and fumbles, not enough touchdowns. He has drawn himself back in. For example, last game against the Bengals, he only threw about 20 passes. Against the Giants was about the same. I actually think he threw about 14 passes against the Giants. But he is taking what the defense gives him. He's playing within the offense. And when you have an offense that is extremely talented, that is all you need. He's played like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL the past few weeks. A.J. Brown, of course, since he's gotten back from injury, arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL, maybe right behind Justin Jefferson. Then Devontae Smith, in my opinion, the best number 2 wide receiver in the NFL. So how do the Jaguars do against the pass? Do they have a lot of sacks? Do they, lock down wide receivers? And unfortunately for Jaguar fans out there, all 2 or 3 of you, the defensive line has not been very good this year. They only have 17 sacks on the year, which is below average. And they've allowed 271 passing yards per game. That's a lot. In case you didn't know, average is probably about 220. They're getting carved up by the passing game. And then the second part of the offense, of course, the running game versus the Jaguars' running defense. Saquan Barkely has looked like the best running back in the NFL this year. He doesn't actually have that many touchdowns because all of a sudden Jalen Hurts decided, I will take all the touchdowns from within the 2-yard line with the brotherly shove. Unfortunately for Saquon, good enough for the Eagles though, and good for my fantasy team, even more important. But Saquon has looked excellent. He's rushing for over 5 yards per carry, about 5.5 to 6 actually. He's doing very good. He has 1 or 2 explosive runs per game where he gets 30 or 40 or 50 yards. He's been everything the Eagles could have imagined. So how is this Jaguars rushing defense? They're not good against the pass. Are they good against the run? And I would actually say against the run, they are average. That's kind of high praise for this Jaguars defense. They've only allowed 111 rushing yards per game, and that is while they have been getting blown out by teams, so the teams are trying to run the ball against them and only have moderate success. I'm not saying they have like a lockdown run defense, but if I had to say what's better in the Jaguars, the rush defense or the pass defense, I'm going to say the rush defense. Overall though, this Jaguars defense is a bad defense. Don't get confused. This is not the Browns. This is not the Giants. This is a bad defense. And the Eagles offense should be able to score on them, whether through the air or through the ground or both. And that is a large part of why the Eagles are such big favorites. If you like the video so far, please consider liking, commenting down below, and subscribing to my channel. It will make me slightly happy when I notice at some point in the day. And if that's not enough, then I guess keep on watching and don't subscribe. But back to the video. Now the Jaguars offense versus the Eagles defense. The Jaguars offense started the year off kind of stale, really slow. Trevor Lawrence, everyone was acting like he was a bust all of a sudden, even though they're kind of acting like that last year when they fell apart. You might not know this is a little side story, But the Eagles' collapse in the second half of last year got a ton of news coverage, going from 10-1 to 11-6. But the Jaguars had a very similar collapse last year. They were in the 90 percentile chance to make the playoffs. With 4 or 5 weeks left, they had a good chance at the 1 seed, and then they crumbled. They lost a ton of games to end the season and missed the playoffs. But kind of Eagles-esque without the Eagles' news coverage and storylines. But back to this year, Trevor Lawrence to start the year off was not playing great. ETN wasn't playing great. And then I would say about 4 or 5 weeks ago, they kind of turned it around on offense. Trevor Lawrence now has 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and almost 2,000 passing yards. And this was largely due to his connection with Brian Thomas, who unfortunately we will not see today. Or whenever this game is, not today. Trevor Lawrence has improved greatly this year. He has also lost all of his weapons, and his offensive line is not great. The Eagles' defense on the other side of the ball, their corners are the best corners I have ever seen the Eagles have. Cooper DeJean has been a revelation. If you don't know who that is, he is the white corner on the Eagles, not the white safety. They actually have 2 white players in the backfield. Pretty rare these days. But he's been amazing. You probably saw that play where he tackled Jammar Chase in the open field on 4th down against the Bengals. I thought there's no chance he's going to make a play like that, but he's such a good tackler. He is so instinctive. He has changed this whole defense since he started playing. The other rookie, Quinyon Mitchell, the first-round pick, has shut down every wide receiver he's played. He even shut down Jammar Chase as well. He held him to 2 catches for under 20 yards, which for Jammar Chase is a pretty good day. He's been very impressive. He won't back down from anybody, and he is clearly the Eagles' future lockdown corner. And then to round it out, Slay, who I did say he is injured, he might not play, or he might play, unknown at this point, but he is still borderline a Pro Bowl level corner, and that trio has been, it's just been so nice to watch as an Eagles fan who is used to just burnt toast in the back. They're in the, wherever it's called, not the backfield, the back 7. So the Eagles DBs are looking really good, and all of the Browns wide receivers are hurt, except for Evan Ingram, the tight end, who seems to get 100% of the remaining passes. They also have Gabe Davis, former Bill, but he hasn't actually done that much this year. The Eagles defensive line, the final section of this passing game versus passing defense. The Eagles defensive line has been really heating up. They only actually got 1 sack last week, but the 2 weeks prior they got 5 sacks and 6 sacks. To start the year off, they were not looking good, but Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat and Jalen Carter have all started playing so much better than they did to start the year off, and as long as they continue, they can wreck this game. The final piece to the puzzle, the Jaguars rushing offense versus the Eagles rushing defense. The Eagles rushing defense, I'm going to be honest, has been pretty shaky. It has not been great until I guess 2 weeks ago. Even the Browns could have rushed for a lot against the Eagles if they had a good running back. But I don't know. I'm not that scared because the Jaguars offense, of course, start with the offense. ETN has not been very good this year. Tank Bigsby has been a pretty good running back, but he's not game-breaking. He's going to break off some runs for 15 or 20 yards, and ETN will catch some screen passes or some 5-yard routes. But I don't think they're going to be able to just run down the Eagles' throats when the Eagles know it's coming. It's not like they're playing against another Bijan Robinson back with the Falcons who was able to do whatever he wanted. So while yes, if I am the Jaguars, I am focusing on this running game. I am handing the ball off as much as I can and throwing these quick passes. But I don't think it's going to be enough to break the Eagles defense. So now that I've gone over that, what is my official prediction And this might be a homer pick because I am an Eagles fan, but I think the Eagles are going to blow them out. I think this is going to be 33-10. I just don't see this Jaguars offense doing anything. The Eagles offense will have enough big plays to run the score up. And then, who knows, maybe even we see the third straight game putting some backups in. That would be nice. Nice, relaxing game at 4 o'clock. That's what I think will happen. What do you think will happen? Leave it down in the comment section down below. There is, of course, the chance the Eagles choke it away, somehow lose this game to Dougie P, and all of Philly will go back into the burning the franchise down mode once again. But thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you later.